Hello and welcome. I'm joined by Ben Standen, Head of Aqua Marketing Global at dsm-firmenich. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for the invitation.
How are modern feed formulations and production systems impacting the nutritional requirements of salmon?
So salmon farming has changed a lot in the last 10 to 15 years. We've seen a significant shift in different raw materials, moving away from marine ingredients and increasing our inclusion of plant-based materials, as well as alternative and novel sources as well. At the same time, the production systems have become more intensive and also more complex. For example, like our RAS, post-smolt production systems, submerged cages, and all of these systems, of course, increase the biomass. So, of course, individually, but especially together, these have real consequences on the nutritional requirements of fish. For example, there's no perfect raw materials. Every raw material has its advantages and its disadvantages, especially when it comes to the nutrient bioavailability. At the same time, as the salmon goes through its production life cycle, it's going to experience different production systems, which will put different pressures on this animal. So it's never been more important to develop and to bring forward precision nutrition. And I would also include precision feeding in that as well. There's been a lot of focus on macronutrients for obvious reasons, but I think we also need to rethink and revisit micronutrition. Of course, micronutrients compose a small part of the diet, the formulation, but they can have a really big impact when it comes to the quality of the feed and the performance outcome. And when it comes to vitamin nutrition, for example, it's not just feeding to avoid deficiency. It's about providing those animals with the ability to thrive in their environment, not just survive.
So why is vitamin D so important for fish?
Vitamin D is a really interesting one. It is something that we've put a lot of focus into in the last years. Just like humans, vitamin D is essential for key factors in fish. For example, like immunity, for disease resistance, for growth, for reproduction, and overall robustness. In fact, actually, if you look at the vitamin D itself, its active form is responsible for maybe around 2 to 5% of all of the genes in a salmon. So that really highlights how critical it is for basic metabolism and physiological function. If your animals are deficient in vitamin D, you'll experience a number of different issues in your production system. For example, abnormal or stunted growth, abnormal swimming behavior, poor feed efficiency, skeletal deformities, and overall reduced disease resilience. So by highlighting and optimizing your vitamin D, you can avoid these issues and also improve the productivity and the efficiency of your production.
And you're launching High D at NASF. So what is it and what benefits does it bring?
So High D is a pure metabolite of vitamin D3. It's actually also known as 25-hydroxy-D3 or calcifediol. It's well known as the most biological available form of vitamin D3. And because it's already in its ready-to-go form, if you like, it doesn't need to be converted by the liver like conventional D3. This means it's faster, it's safer, and it's much more efficiently absorbed by the tissues and the blood in the fish. This improved bioavailability translates into real production benefits. We consistently see improved growth performance, better feed efficiency, better feed utilization and productivity. From a health and welfare perspective, we also see improved immunity, health and welfare, as well as improved product quality when it comes to fillet quality and also reduced visceral fat in the gut. Most importantly, it works in harmony with the fish's own regulatory mechanisms to have a controlled, consistent and safe release of vitamin D.
So how does High D contribute to the improved sustainability of the aquaculture sector?
Sustainability in aquaculture is very closely linked to biological performance. So if we look at a healthy, robust, strong fish, we're going to have high survival. We're going to have very good performance, very good feed efficiency. Conversely, if we think about a sick fish or a fish that isn't feeding very well, it's going to have very poor resource utilization. It's going to be sick, and of course, this leads to a lot of waste. High D, on the other hand, can help improve the efficiency of this, therefore minimalizing losses and improving production efficiency. And sustainability also isn't just about the raw materials themselves. If you think about feed, it has a high cost in terms of euros and cents, but also in terms of the environment. So it's also about maximizing the biological and economic gain of every single kilogram of feed. And where productivity and profitability matters, High D delivers.
And the ambition of Norway is to achieve less than 5% mortality by 2035. Do you think this is achievable?
I think this is a very ambitious target, but I think it's important to be ambitious, and in this case, absolutely necessary. Mortality is a very challenging and a very multifactorial issue to handle. It's not just about health management. We also need to think about nutrition, genetics, environment, production systems, for example. So there's no one single solution. Our approach at DSM is to optimize nutrition and leverage different functional ingredients to contribute to this improved prophylactic health management. So it's not going to be easy, but I really think by engaging across the value chain with the producers themselves, but also the feed millers, with the production companies, technology companies as well, ultimately we can all collaborate and make a real difference on this.
And finally, why is it important for dsm-firmenich to attend NASF? What are you hoping to get out of this event?
So I think for anybody working in the seafood sector in the North Atlantic region, NASF is really the place to be. So from a company perspective, our main focus is in aquaculture, focusing mostly but not exclusively to the salmonids. So we're here for a few different reasons. We're here to engage with our customers, here to engage with the industry. We're here to share our news, our new innovations like High D, for example, but we're also here to listen and to learn. Ultimately, it's only by listening and learning to the real concerns of our customers and the challenges that the industry is facing can we really innovate and put together our tailored solutions. And ultimately, innovation only creates value if it has real-world consequences, real-world solutions. So as I say, we're here to collaborate with our partners, with our friends, up and down the value chain to ultimately bring real-world solutions to our industry.
Ben, thank you so much for your time and insights today. Much appreciated.
Thank you very much.